So what happens when everybody in the world wants to make a global sport to be able to play with animals at the same time? Welcome to the news. We'll stay to the end to find out. Stay to the end because we're going to get there. Stay to the end. Welcome to the news. So what we're trying to get at today is how there's this big mishap and this big shortage in between global animal shelters and humans and human beings and the essence of the business world. So what we want to try to do is close the gap today because in essence, there's an $84 trillion wealth transfer happening in the upcoming 10 to 20 years in essence, where there's like $80 trillion in the US alone changing hands from the baby boomers into the hands of a different generation, the new generation, the millennials through Generation Z, and so those generations are able to take on a whole lot of wealth, and so as a result, it's also possible to make synergy with all of the animal energy that is out in the world to be able to develop a global sport where in essence we're able to give dogs and cats the value that they deserve for existing, and by bringing so many people in the world value in essence by developing a global sport where everybody in the world is obligated based on a global community of animal lovers in essence, a global community of people who also want to clear the animal shelters to be able to make a better life for animals by basically bringing the essence of the mystery of animals to people who have not experienced the animals necessarily firsthand before in the past. And so there's a couple ways to try to go about this. Basically, we need to first make it a global sport. First of all, it's necessary to be able to acknowledge that the whole world is connected to gymnasiums. The whole world goes to gyms to try to get fit and to do exercise. They go to the gym. So in essence, as opposed to doing that, we can just kind of cross out the whole gym process, and then everybody goes and gets an animal, and then they walk outside and they play outside and they make outside a sport. They make living outside a sport. They make playing outside a sport so that everybody in the world makes a global community and everybody has the ability to play together in essence and go outside and play together in the whole world. And so this combined with the global wealth transfer of different businesses being sold and passed down from baby boomers from age 67 to 72 is the average age of retirement, when in essence all of these trillions of dollars of businesses are being passed down and they don't necessarily have successors to be able to be reached. And so that's one of the incentives for Ding Tech Change for Games, the brokerage, Ding Tech Change for Games Studios, the brokerage to be built, in essence for connecting with different brokers around the world and being a lead generating middleman to be able to try to suss out a way to try to add value to this industry in essence. And at the same time, we're trying to develop content like Frank Sinatra in Fantasia with as a conductor, in essence, like in kind of like a musical format, to be able to like play with a electronic dance music and EDM orchestra in essence as the conductor, this type of singing to an electronic dance music orchestra, so that all of these different instruments in electronic music, semi-similar to the BS sounds that you're hearing in the background during this podcast, to make interesting entertainment on a consistent basis, to bring awareness to the brokerage and at the same time bring awareness to animals. The animals around the world are this energy that is this asset energy to be able to try to bring more awareness to people around the world. And that is the game. That's the global sport in essence, is to bring awareness through our brokerage just as a way to try to promote the greater cause in essence, the greater cause of developing awareness to animals in essence. If we're in any way successful with the brokerage, it's to be able to leverage an ability to grow the sport, this international sport of dogs and or cats into the world, to be able to grow the global community, which is a global sport, to be able to bring this animal healing energy to the whole world, to try to heal the whole world in essence. We're trying to leverage and make a sport out of healing the whole world in essence by using dogs and cats as the antidote, by developing a short and middle term market that is something that doesn't necessarily contextually exist in today's market necessarily, whereas we have the short term market of animal healing energy and we have the middle term market, which is like fostering an animal in essence. Typically the way it works is people adopt an animal and then they hold on to it, or they're supposed to hold on to it for life, and that's kind of how it's flawed, this current system in current day today as it is, because they don't have anywhere to put it, they don't have anywhere to bring it, they take it back to animal shelters, and then animal shelters kill animals that they have an overflow of having. So if there's the temporary short-term market, because in essence all animals to animal shelters are like inventory, so first of all it's relevant and necessary as a business to try to do like consulting for animal shelters. We might hope to try to venture to conceptualize doing that, because in essence, like, being a business as an animal shelter, it is possible to develop a more fun experience. It's relevant and possible to develop a more fun experience for animal shelter goers so that they can go there, they can interface, they can interact like it's a petting zoo, like it's a circus, like it's a carnival. And all these things are able to be transmitted and transisted into the greater global sport of connecting people to this animal's healing energy, in essence. And the animal shelters are places that harbor this, in essence, this energy. They have a special ability, but right now it's a very morbid atmosphere typically in animal shelters. Some of them are better than others necessarily, but in Europe it seems they have a less of a killing system. But in essence, in the United States, for example, and then the rest of the world I'm not 100% sure about, but in essence it's relevant to have this global community, this global sport, a global sport that connects all human beings to basically the essence of spreading the word of animal energy as healing energy to be able to try to heal humans. So as a sport, as a collective sport, everybody's on the team to try to bring this animal energy to people that have never experienced animals before, to people that have never had the encounter to be able to get to spend time with animals before. And so this in and of itself can be a business. Like if there's an on-demand Uber application to be able to order animals over and just have them come over for a short time. That's like the Airbnb market for the animal industry. And so this, in essence, like it edifies, it brings awareness to different people. And just by bringing awareness to different people, it's like a soothing, healing, free energy, which is animal energy, which in essence, it's like free, but obviously because it's a business, there's different ways of trying to get this marketing and get this animal energy back into the market as opposed to killing it all the time. And also, it's also spaying and neutering different animals to be able to have animal control, an animal population control in the process, in the water for the whole globe. And this is energy that can contribute to healing the whole globe at the same time. And also merging and making friends and making an allyship out of animals and humans at the same time. So this is like a global game that in essence, like it's a global game for change, which also has a foundational ability to start to heal a lot of the wrongdoings, the negativisms that are going on with humans to begin with. Because a lot of times humans look to relationships to try to patch up different problems and things, but ultimately both humans and human relationships are human. So in essence, they don't have that ability to try to look out for the other human all the time necessarily like an animal can for a human in that respect. So in that respect, it's necessary to play this global game so everybody can have the ability to just be introduced to animal energy, whereas it's so foreign to so many people that in essence, like if you go into an old person's home and you bring like an animal, for example, that people perk up and they get excited because they don't have experiences with it and they don't necessarily have a first-hand exposure to it. So having that ability to have that ability to give that ability to other people is part of what this whole global sport is all about. And so we're trying to like also bring into the lens, the global concept of global media and the global wealth transfer, which is happening, which is trillions of dollars transferring so that younger generations are able to figure out something that is helpful to do with their money and try to figure out a way to pipeline all this new money and this fresh money changing hands so that we have the ability to try to influence the world in the future. And a lot of this animal energy is free right now. Fostering is free right now. But if a correct business system was set in place to be able to efficiently and effectively distribute animal energy to the whole world, that is the sport we're trying to invent in this podcast. And at the same time, we're trying to bring awareness to our global brokerage so that we as a lead generator, as a lead aggregate generator, are trying to help package assets, are trying to help package like businesses for sale with other businesses for sale that all have real estate attached. And we're trying to develop media to sell all of these in one package and connect with different brokers around the whole world and different real estate brokers and brokerages and real estate agents and all these people to try to help and also connect with the businesses for the businesses to make their own media to help sell their own businesses in packages with other businesses or other assets, for example, to be able to develop these significant packages, to develop packaged energy and that has a significant impact over the course of the short and long term, so that in essence we can continue to play this game in a short-term, long-term game. It's like a new sport, this animal energy sport in essence. It's called replace the gym with animal energy, and replace the gym with being part of a global animal community, and replace the old hat way of thinking in this world with new animal energy in essence, to be able to try to cleanse the spirits of all human beings, to be able to reset our whole mindsets in this world, to be able to cleanse any given negativity, hopefully, from our lives, because animals forgive all that. They're like little religious creatures on this planet. Whatever religion anybody believes, it's in essence like that spirit of that good doing, that good focus, that good vibration lives within all of the animals that are all around us that are being killed because people don't necessarily have a system to be able to have a better process or a better outcome for these animals. So this collective ability to develop this global sport develops this unifying process and this unifying energy, which is healing energy to all humans. And then the shelters can hopefully be anointed as positive resources, whereas they've been killing a lot of animals because they haven't figured out a better process and a better system, and they also have bad reputations in many instances. So if their reputations are able to turn around, then hopefully it will turn their heart around, and they can help the collective healing system and the healing source of healing energy as a source for that and as a business for that healing energy. And then therefore they are praised, and they're also their businesses can get better and their businesses can increase, because a global globe system and globe culture and global culture can emerge and ultimately help the shelters fundamentally and do their part for the shelters fundamentally, so that in essence the global system and the global process becomes more global and more of a global sport like soccer. The whole global sport of combining animals and edifying and educating people through edutainment, basically developing an edutainment process and expanding this whole pipeline of focus in the media and in the awareness for good deeds around the world can just be fully functionally revolving around this conceptual ability to be able to bridge this $1 trillion changing of hands of energy of the new people getting new money and acknowledging and realizing how cheap the animal industry is today, and trying to invest significantly monetary assets, monetary resources, monetary functionality, so that in essence the ability for this significant, powerful healing energy can be acknowledged, realized, invested in, and brought to the rest of the world as like an antidote that's living and breathing in a physical, tangible item and object in the form of an animal that hopefully can start to heal the rest of the world collectively, and the rest of the world can try to collectively heal itself by developing a global culture that's similar to a global music culture in essence, that revolves around animal energy, because animal energy is something that can be understood by humans similar to music in essence. It's business music. This is a business music game. It's called Dink Tech Change for Games. The brokerage is trying to develop this sport, and by the end of this podcast we're hopefully going to have a name for this sport. In essence, it's called Replace the Gym. I guess I said it a little bit before. It's called Replace the Gym, this sport, and ironically it's about not only replacing the gym, going outside, getting a better human life, but at the same time sharing that concept, sharing this concept of new animal energy with different people that have never experienced it before, and then having a system that connects like responsibility and responsibly the aspect of animals as assets to the shelters, and fundamentally as assets that connect to the shelter in a way that has paperwork and documentation and contracts and abilities for things to be more functionally relevant and significantly efficient, just like renting a car from a rental car agency. In essence, there are long contracts that correspond to that whole process, and all of the cars that correspond to all of those rental companies in essence are in essence assets, and they are contracted and very connected connectively with legal companies, legal entities, and legal frameworks in essence. But these are living, breathing creatures that are close enough to humans that should be treated much better than cars are treated from rental car companies in essence. So let's continue to evaluate and continue to develop and propagate this sport known as the gym is outdated, or this is better than the gym, I guess, this sport. But we're going to have to modify that name most definitely. But in the meantime, that's all for now. Blessings among all. And that's all. Dink Tech Change for Games. Dink Tech Change for Games Studios. Bye, peace, bye. Please come support our media development of Frank Sinatra, Fantasia, EDM, orchestra, type of a musical media development to try to promote our own brand at the same time if possible. All right, thanks again. Bye, Dink Tech. Bye, peace, bye.